Hi, my name is Sabrina. I haven't posted videos for about a year, but I am back to share a dream that I had. I believe the Lord has been encouraging me to share this dream. So, outside of like the few friends that I have shared it with, I had this dream about a year ago. I have it written down, but I still remember it pretty well too. Uh, I'm just gonna get started and then I'll talk to you guys about some stuff. So, at the beginning, I was like at a mall, like a big public place, and lots of people around, and they were selling like ice cream and cakes and stuff like that. So, I got some, and as I was eating the food, I was realizing that I couldn't taste the sweetness of the food. Like, it didn't taste like anything. And that made me realize, like, immediately that I must have COVID again. Because every time I've gotten COVID, I have not been able to taste anything sweet, and my taste just gets messed up in general. Once I realized that I was sick again, it's like I knew. I was like, oh no, a lot of people are gonna die from this. But I knew that I was going to be okay, but I was just like aware that people were going to die. And it was pretty upsetting. So as I was thinking about this and realizing all this, there was a woman with me, and I loved her. Like, I was looking at her and I knew that I loved her so, so much. I don't know who this woman was in reality. She's not a person from my life, but in the dream I felt very connected to her and felt that love quite intensely. And she just like, we made eye contact. We were like staring at each other, and then she just turned away from me and walked away. And in my mind, I just thought, she's lost to the world. And I was very, very sad again. Then I was sitting on a couch in a very regular living room, and Jesus was sitting beside me on the couch, and I kind of looked over to him, and he just looked kind of sad and very serious, and he said, "We're leaving next week." And I replied, "Next week? Can it really be that soon?" And then I turned my head and I looked forward, and I fell forward, like onto the floor, just flat on my face, and I just kind of laid on the floor on my stomach with my face just like against the floor too, and I just felt very stuck there. Then I was in the clouds with a woman. She was to my left. She was wearing dark clothing. She had long black hair, a very pale woman. And she was doing archery, like she was preparing to shoot archery. There was nothing else around. It was me, the woman, and ahead of us was a very traditional, like, bullseye. And she started telling me about how she was unique in the way that she did things, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. And she had these black bristles, like handfuls of them, and they look kind of like paintbrush bristles. And she was wiping the arrow tips with the bristles. Then she said, "I can hit the mark. I just don't do it the same as him." Then she drew her arrow, and I watched her shoot her arrows at the target. So in my mind, I was just like, she's hitting the target. She was, but she wasn't getting bullseyes. Like, it was always around the bullseye, but it was hitting the target. Then I was in an empty white space, basically just white in every direction, just infinitely. Like, it was just all white. And there was a man standing to my left, and Jesus was standing again with me on my right. And the man said, he was like super excited, and he was like, "We did it. She had the baby." After he said that, I looked past him, and there was a woman a little bit in the distance. And I had remembered seeing her at the beginning of the dream, like in the mall area. And, she had a big belly, but it was gone. And she just kind of made eye contact with me, and she walked sideways and disappeared into the white. So I turned my eyes back to the man that had said that that she had the baby, and he was gone. And then I just kind of looked at Jesus. Then Jesus and I were floating together in the sky. Like we were in the clouds. We were really high up, and looking down, it's like when you're in an airplane and you look down and you can see the earth below. It was that kind of view. But we were just kind of floating in the air, and there were storms all around us. So I don't mean like one giant storm. It was like there'd be a tornado here, and then, like going around, there'd be like a hurricane looking storm there. And then there was this, so there was a bunch of like storms all around us. It was very chaotic. There was clouds that were just full of like lightning that was going off really quickly. There was also this storm that was full of fire. It was so weird. And I actually looked it up after I had this dream because it's real. Like, there's like, it looks like there's fire. It's almost like they're weird tornado clouds, and they're full of fire. And that's what that one was. And Jesus was floating beside me because I was just observing, and he was like moving his arms around and his hands around, and I could tell he was controlling the storms, or at least not like he was making them, but he was moving them around. Like the storms existed, and he was like moving them around and stopping them from going to places and pushing them towards other places, kind of a thing. And then he reached out his arm, and he grabbed the storm that was like a fire tornado, and he just like somehow grabbed it with his hand, and it was like he was choking it out, and it slowly like changed, and it's like he pulled this fire demon elemental thing out of it. And when he pulled it out, he had his hand around its neck, and it's like he choked it out, and the storm kind of dissipated. And then he was just standing there like holding this demon in his hands, and that's when I woke up. So I have my own interpretations for this dream, but I'm not going to really get into that. I'm just sharing the dream like I believe that I should. I also do want to comment, though, that when I woke up from it, I was praying about it, talking to Jesus about it. I've talked to him about it quite a lot, but when I fell off the couch flat on my face, like when I had woken up from the dream, I was thinking about how John talked about that, how he fell flat on his face before God. So I just thought that that was interesting, an interesting connection. Also, I am looking at the timestamp from when I shared this dream with my friend, and it's from September 2024. So that was the month. I don't know the exact date that I had this dream. So I just want to read some Bible verses and maybe talk about them a little bit, and we'll just see where this goes. So this is Jeremiah chapter 29, and I'm reading from the King James. So this is 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, And I will gather you from all nations, and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord. And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. So I know that, God is speaking to the people of Israel in these verses. Jeremiah, that's who the audience is, but it's encouraging because, if you seek God with all your heart, you will find him and he will pull you out of your trouble. And that's just very encouraging. I love you guys. I love everybody. Probably be around. Hopefully, I can stick with making some videos a bit better this time. But for now, just, God bless. Jesus loves you. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And if you do not know Jesus, now is a good time. For real, though. But I'll talk to you guys later. Much love.